Marvel Cinematic Universe, the people are protected by two separate yet equally important groups. The heroes who save them, and the attorneys who clean up their collateral damage. But only one can be both. This is her story. Dun dun.
Lawyer show. So, the She-Hulk. Now, this show, I've seen a lot of hate for it going on. And I want to explore why. Why are people disliking this show? I want to explore the reasoning behind it. So let's talk about it. Okay, yeah, so welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is AJ, your host. So, yes, She-Hulk, obviously Marvel, the MCU's new series on Disney+. It's been receiving a lot of criticism. It truly has. Now, is it deserved for this show? Is the problem bigger than She-Hulk? Is it a bad show? Let's just talk about it, shall we? Get some things off my chest, and you can share down in the comments what you think about the programme. Maybe hit the subscribe button as well at the same time, and join me on the journey through my other content. So let's begin. Okay, yeah, so as we know, at this juncture we are 3 episodes in to the She-Hulk, and I've seen a lot of videos complaining about it. I've seen a lot of videos that don't go much beyond justification and saying it is a 4-letter expletive, you know, which I don't think is very fair, to be honest. Now, She-Hulk itself, me personally, let me get off my thoughts on the show itself. I've enjoyed it. 3 episodes in, and I have enjoyed it. Now, I am a big Marvel fan. I truly am. I've read comics for 35 plus years. You know, I've read She-Hulk. I've read She-Hulk from the beginning. I've read She-Hulk now. It's a character I'm pretty familiar with. Now, with a lot of the arguments that I have seen surrounding She-Hulk, you would believe that people weren't prepared whatsoever for what they were going to get. Yeah, it's like people have gone into it and they've expected a female version of the Hulk. By which, I mean, they've gone in and they've expected the green, angry monster, smashing and bashing. And this is what people have wanted, and this is what people are missing from the Hulk in the MCU. Now, the Hulk himself, he started off as the angry Hulk. Through the MCU films, we have seen him transition into a smarter version of the Hulk. Now, in the comics, the Hulk himself has gone through these kind of journeys, and what we're getting in the MCU is no different than that. Now, people always resort to the angry Hulk. We want the angry Hulk. Hulk smash, you know. That's what people want. And I understand to a degree, but you've got to understand that the Hulk itself is a very difficult character to write for. He really is. In that you've got this double identity. You have Bruce Banner, who is human, is a character, and then you have the Green Rage monster. Now, the Green monster has no character to him whatsoever beyond smash and crash, and that can only go so far in storytelling before it gets boring, unless you focus primarily on the human aspect of the character. But people don't like that because they want to see this. But this doesn't make for compelling storytelling. This does. So, his journey through the MCU, he has got smarter, and they have given the character a vast journey. And I've got no issue with that whatsoever. I'm pretty sure that at some point this will go full circle, and we will go back to seeing the Angry Hulk again. That aside, She-Hulk is a different kettle of fish, a completely different kettle of fish. She-Hulk doesn't have that angry persona. Yes, in the comics we have had the savage She-Hulk, they have done it, but for the most part, She-Hulk is a character that is grounded in her character. She is the same character that she is, whether she's in human form or whether she is in the green monstrous form. Monster's not the right word to use for her. Basically, the gamma radiation inside Bruce has clicked into this inner demon of Bruce, that Bruce has on his inside, this rage, this inner rage that he keeps at bay, and this is why you get the Hulk as he is. Jennifer Walters, on the other hand, as a character, what the gamma radiation has latched onto there is her need or her want to be the best she can be. That's what she strives to be, and it sort of latches that and gives her that in the form of the She-Hulk. Now, people go on about the word woke. Woke this, woke that. Now, we've always had female versions of characters. Christ, back in the Adam West TV series, you had Batgirl, right? It wasn't ever mentioned as being woke and this sort of thing. You would believe, people would have you believe that strong female characters have never existed in film or TV before. But they have. You go back to the 70s, you go back and look at things like Charlie's Angels, The Bionic Woman. You know, you had Alien with Sigourney Weaver, you had Terminator with Sarah Connor. You know, you wouldn't, and then they're getting angry that you know, in Prey, that a female woman defeats a predator. But you've had them defeat aliens and a Terminator before. People just don't know what they're talking about. I'll be honest, right? Now, there is box ticks here, ticking, that does go on, all right? But let's put that aside because, you know, we are in the world that we live in, and this is how it is, and this isn't changing. This isn't going anywhere. So you either got to try and look past it and look beyond it or not. Now, She-Hulk itself. Now, She-Hulk was a character that was developed or came about in 1980. Now, I'm aware that in the TV series, she breaks the fourth wall, and now come the, you know, the comparisons to Deadpool. Yes, Deadpool. No, She-Hulk can't do it because Deadpool done it. Hold on a minute. She-Hulk was doing this before Deadpool even came about. Deadpool didn't come around until 11 years later in the comics, and even then he wasn't the merc with the mouth at the first juncture of his appearance. That came a little bit later, and all the comedy that came with Deadpool came somewhat later. He was a much straighter character at first, and that 11-year gap between the two characters, She-Hulk has always broken the fourth wall in the comics, right? She always has. She is a character that has been seen ripping through pages of the comic book to go onto the next page, or tearing through and coming through to the next page. She's a character that will step between panels, from one panel into the next. It's always been done in this sort of a way. Not only that, but She-Hulk always has at its heart delved into these smaller characters, had these smaller characters around her, these sort of support characters, these crazy, stupid, really like out there, far out there kind of characters populating the comics, like what we have seen in the TV series, like with the little elf woman from Asgard and things like this. It's there, it's existed. Yeah, it isn't new. But what's happened is people's minds want one thing. They want this angry Hulk. They want to see Hulk smashing and crashing, and you're not going to get that. But we knew that as we were going in. We knew this was going to be a lore show, and we knew it was going to be sort of comedic, and we knew what it was going to be for a runtime. Now, people complain about the runtime for the program. Hell, WandaVision was the same length, right? Marvel give you what is required for the show. They don't say, okay, we're going to do 45 minutes like a standard TV show, and we must fill 45 minutes or 44 minutes because the ads fill in the rest of the hour. That's what we have to fit, and this is when you get filler, and this is when you get stories stretched out. Marvel will give you a show that is, if they only need to give it 20 minutes for that particular episode, they give you 20 minutes. If it needs to be 35 minutes, they'll give you 35 minutes. Stop moaning about the damn length of it. It is what it is. And if the program annoys you that much, then why moan about the length of it anyway? Because you're not enjoying it as it is. So would another 15 minutes make it better for you when you're not enjoying the content as it is? Exactly, it wouldn't. So, you know, it's a moot point, is the runtime for the episode. Okay, I'm not going to go into the special effects, right? I know that sometimes the She-Hulk special effects do look somewhat rubbery, but they're pretty damn good for TV, right? Now, Hulk itself has, you know, they've had years to work on the Hulk and you know, all the programs to do the CGI and that, but not for the She-Hulk. Now, the other thing, Marvel have always given us different things. You look at the films and you look at the sort of films they are. You know, Winter Soldier itself was a political thriller, right? So Marvel always taps in to a different film sort, a different sort of underlying thematic theme for the films, and have the characters in it, and that is no different here, right? It really isn't. It is a sort of comedic, lawyerish type of a show, and that's what it's given us. But for the most part, the biggest issue that I find is that people are watching these shows, people are watching the MCU, and they think that they are now a you know, they have all the information, right? They have all the, you know, I know the MCU, I know the character. Well, if you've not read the comics, then you don't know the characters, do you, right? And I'm talking long time reading. I'm not talking like, oh, once I picked up a She-Hulk comic and I read it, so I know what I'm talking about. No, I have read the comics, right? And even I still don't know what I'm talking about to the extent of other people who know the comics back more so than me, back to back, and all this sort of a thing. I feel like I've got a considerable amount of knowledge, and it's not just based around of what I've seen on screen. Yeah, the She-Hulk TV series is a pretty damn good representation of the She-Hulk comic in tone, in look, in feel, and this is what Marvel have given us. But people think that they know better, but no, they don't. What they don't know, their subconscious is telling them, is I wanted Hulk. That's what you're not happy about, is that you actually wanted a Hulk show, right? And you was hoping to get it with a female version because you knew a female version was coming along, but you hoped that she would be smashed and crashed and all this stuff. And that isn't She-Hulk. It isn't it. Now, does the MCU have bigger problems? Yes. This is the other side that people aren't considering, right? Now, you know, we've hit phase 4 of the MCU, right? And it's in full stride, right? Phase 1, 2 and 3, there was an overall arc, there was an overall structure, and it worked for it. And then we came into phase 4. And phase 4, even from my perspective, seems all over the place. Yeah? In quality and in structure. It doesn't seem to be melding together for any reason, apparent reason whatsoever. Now, for me, I have seen a decline in the 4th phase of the MCU. You know, Black Widow was okay, but it wasn't great. Shang-Chi, I wasn't invested in at all. Eternals bored the hell out of me. Spider-Man, No Way Home, you know, it ticks fanboys' checklists, but it's not a fantastic film. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I really want to love it. I really want to like it, but I know it's still lacking in something. For me, the strength has been in the TV shows more than on the big screen. That being said, I found that Marvel's last 2 projects, Moon Knight and Ms. Marvel, that I never even finished Ms. Marvel, never got to the end of it, have lacked somewhat. But She-Hulk has it. She-Hulk has got it. It's got the humour, that works. The breaking of the 4th wall is fantastic. When she stops driving the car and turns around and talks to the camera, brilliant, inspired, right? The biggest issue at the moment, and people don't realise this, is that you are feeling fatigue. Yeah, there is Marvel fatigue going on. The reason for that is because as soon as one project ends, visually for you to watch, another project starts. You're not being given a break from it. You are being stifled. You are being saturated with Marvel content, and you haven't got time to consume it. You haven't got time to digest it, because the minute that one TV show ends, you've got a film or another TV show starts. There's no break between. And this is the problem. This is the big problem that Marvel has created for themselves now. That they want the money. It's a business. They don't care what they're doing. They don't care that they are pumping this stuff out at the speed that they are doing it, because it is drawing in money for them, and they'll keep doing it until that money stops. That's it. That's the biggest issue that Marvel have got. So the complaints stemming from the TV shows or the latest projects, yes, they're not as great. Thor wasn't as good. Everyone knows that. But the biggest issues rely around saturation, and you've got to understand what that is doing to your psyche, to your to your mind, to your. That's what you need to explore. Not turning around saying something is crap, for want of a better word, that people utilise. There's a bigger issue at play, and it's eking away at you inside, that this Marvel stuff is non-stop. It's non-stop. It's being jammed down your throats. And this is the biggest problem. So fatigue of a program or of a series or of is a real thing. It's not some made up thing. It is real. It truly exists. Marvel need a break between things. It used to feel special. You got a Marvel film, it was special. The wait until the next one. There's no waiting now. The waiting is over. The waiting is gone. You get one, it finishes, you've got something else there a week or 2 weeks later. That finishes, you've got something else. When do I digest this? When do I take it in? You haven't got the time. And this is the problem, right? She-Hulk is a well-written, well-produced, well-acted, funny show, and it works. It may not work for everyone, I understand that, but this mass turn against Marvel is being stemmed by other reasons. Reasons that you need to understand a little bit about your own psychology to get to the bottom of. That's where it comes from. That's where it stems from. End of story. That's it. So tell me your thoughts on the MCU, current state of it. Tell me your thoughts on She-Hulk, because I'm bloody enjoying it. I think it's really good. Having a lot of fun with it. I really am. And tell me your thoughts on Marvel as a whole. Do you feel the saturation has been reached? Let me know. It's AJ. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the subscribe button. Take care all. Goodbye.